You are listening to Aftersight. This recording is intended solely for individuals who are blind or have low vision.
You're listening to a BGE podcast.
Back to another Monday episode of the Blind Grilling Experience. We're going to be talking about pellet grills, some misconceptions, some tips and tricks, and things to watch out for. Welcome to this beautiful, cold, once again, Monday. Oh, man. Hey, this is Chris Peltz, the most interesting griller in the world. I hope everyone has had a great weekend and doing great as spring is just, it's like it's right here. We've almost got it. Almost got it. And a lot of folks are just chomping at the bit to get out there and do some grilling. I know you are. And, you know, there are some who are already doing it. Some don't care about the weather. They're out there grilling and smoking and doing all those awesome, wonderful things. But there are some who are waiting for some better weather and some looking for some great deals on grills. And so that's something that I want to talk about. Because specifically pellet grills, I've had some questions recently asking me about pellet grills and what I think are some that I think are good, maybe what to look for. And, you know, we've talked a little bit about getting the smoke flavor in pellet grills, but there's some misconceptions that I want to dispel. We need to be careful about, you know, just wanting things easy, right? There are tools out there. There are some things that are, you know, make accessibility wonderful and helpful, but, you know, we don't want to, you still want to do the work, right? I mean, there's still work that has to be put into this. There's still something you need to do, you know, and not just have everything done for you. I mean, that, you know, then, you know, you're not the one doing it if everything's being done for you. And the reason I say that is there are some folks who are like, oh yeah, man, this pellet grill, I thought I could just, you know, sit inside my house and turn it on and get it started and fire it up. Well, usually that's not the case. Usually you have to go out and before an app will allow you, and I'm not talking about accessibility at this point. I'm talking about for anyone. Blind, sighted, it don't matter. If you want to use the app for your pellet grill, you have to physically go outside and turn on your grill before the app is really, you're able to start using all the controls in the app. And there's a couple of reasons, very good reasons why they do that. And that's what I want to talk about for, you know, this portion of the episode today, because pellet grills are awesome. I've had 3 different pellet grills and they do work great. You know, you can get these, you know, double walled insulated, and you can get various things, you know, blankets that are made to fit over the grills so that you can, insulate them. And then, of course, that makes it great for someone who's blind or visually impaired, who has to feel around to touch the grill. And you're touching that insulated blanket instead of the metal itself. And so there are things that you can do, things that you can have that allow someone who's blind or visually impaired to really be safe around a pellet grill. And they do help things to become a little bit easier in some ways. Now, the problem is not a lot of apps are accessible for various brands, and that's something we'll have to save for another program. But I want to talk about starting a pellet grill and why it is you have to go out and literally turn it on first and foremost. Well, of course, you're not supposed to just leave these things plugged up, right? They have the electronics, and so you have to have a cover, and you don't want to just leave them plugged up. After use, you need to unplug it, but at a certain period of time, which again, you don't want to just the cook is done and then unplug it. Don't do that. We'll talk about that as well. But when you go out to start your grill, you got to plug it up and you have to physically turn it on there on the grill. And you have to not only make sure that you have pellets in the hopper, but you have to open the cooking chamber. And that is what is so important. There are people on YouTube that are showing the aftermaths of their pellet grills exploding or their doors getting blown off of their pellet grills. It's not extremely common, but it does happen, especially for those, probably more common for something like a vertical pellet smoker that when you close the lid, you turn the handle and it locks the door, rather, turn the handle and it kind of pulls the door shut and kind of seals it a little bit better, as opposed to one that just kind of folds down and rests. Although it can happen with those and has happened with those, where the pellet grill will blow that door open or off or send a fireball. I mean, this can happen. And here's what the problem is. When you turn on that grill and it starts putting pellets into the firebox, into the fire chamber, and it starts lighting those pellets, and that heat gets put to those pellets, and that smoke begins to fill that chamber. What happens is that smoke combusts, and it can explode if it's under pressure. And so you want to open up your lid or your door to your pellet smoker when you first start it, and let that kind of start to get lit and a lot of that smoke clear out, and make sure the fire, and you'll hear it. That's the great thing about these pellet smokers is, you can hear that fire start to rage. You'll hear that. It just gets louder and louder, and you're like, okay, it's fired up. And at that point, when the fire is going, it's generally, a good time where you can think about go ahead and closing the door, the lid to your pellet smoker, and not worry about a lot of that smoke, combusting and causing any issues. So that's something that I wanted to point out, because a lot of people, why can't I just start it? Why can't, I can't, sit in my house. I don't want to go outside. Listen, do the work. Yeah, there's a reason why, and part of it is safety. It's your safety first and foremost. And so, quit being so lazy. We've gotten lazy enough as it is with the technology that we have and being able to control things from our phones as it is. Just get up and go outside and start your grill and do it the right way and be safe about it. That's really what we need to do and remember that, there's a reason why they don't want you to just start it from inside your home. And that's why, right? It's for your safety. And another thing, when you shut your grill down, this is something that's important as well. There's a shut off or a shutdown process. You don't want to just unplug a pellet grill, not only for the components, but there's this shutdown process that happens, and it is, again, a safety protocol that it goes through to keep fire from going up into the auger and then going into your hopper and setting all your pellets on fire and burning down your house. All right? I mean, that can happen. There's been fires that have been started from that very thing. And so you don't want to just unplug your pellet grill. You want to open up your lid and let it run through its shutdown process and let it cool down. And generally that process includes not only allowing the pellets to go out, but keeping, sometimes it has a little system where it drops a couple of extra pellets, kind of clearing out that the front part of that auger to keep that fire from going up into that auger and going through into the hopper. But there's a process that it has to go through, and it's they've designed it and set it up for safety. So, listen, when you're playing with fire, right, you just got to be careful. You got to be smart about things and understand that there's a reason you go through all this process and go through the work to have not only amazing food, but to live to cook another day and use your grill another day as well. So there's a couple things to think about, right? There's going to be some things you're going to have to do and allow to do. Once that grill's gone through its shutdown process and it's completely turned off on its own, then you can, close the door lid and unplug it and put the cover on it and store it however you're going to store it. But with that said, there's a couple of things that I think are important that you should look for in a pellet grill. And it has to do with that firebox. It has to do with being able to, clean out your firebox and some of the systems that these grills have. There are a few, and again, this is not all. Again, you need to check on this. I think this is important. There are those that you have to take everything out. You have to take the grates out. You have to take the deflector out. And the thing, whatever system it is that covers up that fire pot, remove it, and then you have to remove the ashes from that fire pot. Whether it's vacuuming them, blowing, whatever your system is, you have to, there are some of these pellet grills where you have to remove everything and clean out that fire pot. And, for some people, that's fine. They don't care. They'll do it, and it's no big deal. And the pellets don't generally create a lot of ash, but if you wait for, 4, 5, 6 cooks, that can create a problem. First of all, not only in lighting, the grill lighting itself to begin with, but also, creating a stack of pellets that gets closer to your auger and can create problems again with fire going up into your auger. So just some things you got to watch out for and be careful with. And so cleaning that fire pot out is important. Now, I had a really well-built pellet grill years ago that if I didn't clean it out, it wouldn't light. And that was after practically every cook. And that was frustrating. I was like, I would like to at least cook with it 2 or 3 times before I have to clean it out. Well, nowadays, there are a few grills that have some really good systems. Green Mountain Grill has a system where during the shutdown process, they have a fan that kicks on and blows the ash out of the fire pot. And, it goes into the bottom of the grill. And so you can go longer periods of time before you have to clean, take everything out and then clean out that grill. But the fire pot itself is being blown out during the shutdown process, which is really nice. I mean, it's a nice little system. It's, takes care of that for you and allows you to go longer periods of time between each cook. And so that's something that's really good that you can look for some kind of system like that. Another system, which would be with a Pit Boss or Camp Chef. I know I'm familiar with Camp Chef systems, that you can actually have a lever, and they've got this little catch cup, I guess you could say, on the bottom of their grills, and there's a lever that you can pull from the side, and it's the bottom of the firebox, or your little where your fire is at, and you pull that lever, and all the ashes fall down into that cup, and you can dump your ashes, and that makes it nice as well, because first of all, they're not being blown all over the place. They're not getting blown out into the bottom where you eventually have to pull everything out and vacuum all that out. You can just have them dumped right into that cup, go and dump it, and put the cup back, and you're ready, for the next time when you just need to dump your ashes. And you can just dump, before each cook, pull that lever, let them dump into that cup, and then run a cook, and then the next time pull that lever, dump it in the cup. And you can do that 2 or 3 times or more before you have to dump that cup from the ashes. And that kind of system is really nice as well. And it makes it easy. It makes cleanup nice and easy, and I just love it. I think it's great. The pellet grill that I have now has that system. I've got a Camp Chef vertical cooker, and that's what I can do is I can pull that lever and dump the ashes right into the cup, and do that every 2 or 3 times, and then I can dump that cup out, and I'm good to go. It's great. And so that is something that I would recommend you look for in a pellet grill. If you're looking for one and you want to go with a pellet grill, which are great cookers. If you do a lot of chicken or poultry, it's hard to beat a pellet grill when it comes to that. And that's something I've said before, and it's still true. It is hard to beat a pellet grill when it comes to poultry, when it comes to chicken wings, chicken quarters, thighs, and just whole chickens, turkey. They're just great cookers. They really are. And so if you're looking for a pellet grill, those are a couple of things that I would say, you need to realize, first of all, that you're going to have to put some work into it. You're going to have to be out there, plugging it in and unplugging it. You're going to have to be out there starting it. Whether, even if you get the Wi-Fi feature, you're going to have to do a little bit of work going out there and starting it, and opening up that door or that lid, to get it going. And so you just keep that in mind, and then cleaning out that ash pot. Of course, there can be grease buildup over time. You can use aluminum foil on your drip plate or your deflector, and that can make for easy cleanup. And of course, just taking it out and cleaning it every once in a while and getting all that grease out of there is always helpful, and can help prevent grease fires and things like that from happening as well. And so those are some things to think about when it comes to the pellet grills. I'm going to be doing some videos on Blind Grilling's YouTube channel and kind of walk around a few pellet grills as we go out and about and check out some of the grills that folks have out there for, consideration. And we'll look at some of these things that they have and do a little bit more on the video as far as showing some of those options and how all that works. But so stay tuned for that, and be sure and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're so close to 2,000, and who knows? Maybe by the time we upload this, we'll be there. But we're really close to 2,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet on the YouTube channel, go over and do that. And of course, we appreciate everybody who tunes in and listens here on the Blind Grilling Experience podcast as well. Be sure and share it out as well. Leave a comment. Send us an email. Of course, blindgrilling@gmail.com is the email address. We love hearing from you guys. And, that's always great as well. All right, folks. I hope you have a great week. Firing up that grill. Throwing on some meat, veggies, sides, doing all those wonderful things, making some breads, pizzas. But remember, if you're looking, you ain't cooking.